Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Welcome to this Yoga for Flexibility class. We're going to be working on the hips to get a lot of energy and vitality flowing through the body. If you like this video, remember to subscribe, like it, leave me a comment, let me know how the practice goes for you. Let's grab 2 yoga blocks and a strap, head on over to the mat, close your eyes, and come to a comfortable seated position. Let's bring the hands together. A long, deep breath in. As you exhale, let's softly open the eyes. Now, when we work on opening the fronts of the hips, we're thinking about releasing the exterior muscles around the quadriceps, and then also releasing the interior muscles called the iliopsoas, also releasing the muscles of the abdomen. So we're going to start from a more therapeutic standpoint and then build up to a more active release of the fronts of the hips. So I want you first to lie down on your back. So let's exhale and let's lie down. Oh, isn't it always nice to lie down for a moment? Can we get a big yes for that? And now feeling the whole body just kind of release into the ground. This movement here called constructive rest, when the feet are a little wider than the hips and the knees kind of spiral in, this movement, this posture allows the iliopsoas and the back muscles to release because the legs and the bones of the legs are kind of balanced almost like a house of cards. So the architecture of the skeletal structure just kind of lets the muscles take a little break for a moment. And so this is what we mean by restorative yoga. Yoga poses that actually help the muscles just take a little break and kind of feel refreshed. So we'll stay for 2 more breaths here, and then we'll start to release. So we first enter into a space of kind of restoration. Let's do 1 more breath. And then let's grab a yoga block. So I'd love for you to grab a block, and there are 3 different variations of height. So you can choose the lowest, the medium, or the high. Usually for the iliopsoas region, we probably need at least medium or high, but you have to listen to your body. Next, inhale, let's lift the hips up and place the block on the sacrum. So you're gonna just really settle the sacrum on the block. All right, got it? Now, I want you to spiral the knees lightly in and just feel that for a moment. This puts like a little strange pressure. Make sure the butt is relaxed. You do not want to be squeezing the butt right now. Not that you can never squeeze the butt, just we're trying to relax right now. So try not to squeeze too much of anything right now, including the butt. Now let's extend one leg, and you'll feel how that pulls the pelvis away from the ribs. Then straighten the other leg, and there should be a gravitational pull, almost like the weight of the legs kind of pulls away from the rib cage. And now, as we maximize the space between the ribs and the hips, and then we can access the iliopsoas. So the iliopsoas is, if you're not familiar with it, it's a deep core muscle that kind of lines the lumbar spine. And that's the psoas portion. And then the iliacus is the muscle that lines the iliac crest, or the hip bones up here. They kind of come together to create a really powerful hip flexor. And every time you walk or sit, the iliopsoas kind of moves into contraction. If you do impact like sports, like say running, marathon running, for example, or definitely jumping, the iliopsoas definitely contracts each time you lift your leg and also each time you hit the ground to stabilize the pelvis. So some of you are feeling a lot of stretch already in this front hip region. This is exactly what we're looking for. Don't separate the feet too widely apart, but also don't force them to come in. We'll be here for 5 more breaths, and then we're going to add in some variations. Let's breathe really deeply for these last 5 breaths. Letting the front of the pelvis open. Try to let the block support you so there's not so much activation going on here. 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. Last breath. So you notice that the longer you stay, sometimes intensity is increasing. The next movement we're going to do might be too much, but try it out and see how it goes. We'll bend the left knee back, and I want you to hold your left ankle. Point the foot, and see if you can kind of hook the foot on the floor or around the block. And then this again is increasing now the left hip, and we'll stay here for 5 breaths. So we have 1, 2. Notice that the knee kind of wants to pull out. See if we can just lightly encourage it to draw slightly inward. 3, 4, 1 more, last one. 5, that's good. Straighten the leg, hold on to the block, switch the sides. Bend, hold the right ankle, and then hook either on the floor or all the way around the block, and then 5 more breaths. And notice one side might be tighter than the other. It's all right. 1. Try to deepen your breath. 2. It's okay if you feel your quadricep also. Remember, that's part of your access point to kind of freeing the front of the pelvis. 3, 4. Last one. 5. Now you can come out, straighten your legs, or there's one more option. You can hold on to the block and kind of give it a little pressure, then bend the left knee, hold on to the left ankle, hooking the left foot on the block or on the floor, and you might need to hold on to the block, kind of just gently pressing your hands, or if you feel balanced, you can kind of just let the hands be free. Now we stay here. We're going to exit this one slightly differently, so let's hold. We have 1, just 5 breaths. 2, 3. Try to balance on the block. 4. Last one. 5. Very good. Now we try to come off a little differently. As you exhale, I want you to put your knees on the ground, flatten the block out, remove it, and then exhale, sitting on the feet. Very good. All right, now some of you are going to feel, oh, I actually feel I can slide my butt down between. So just kind of settle the butt down for Supta Virasana. For those of you sitting on your feet, you can continue sitting on the feet, or you could sit on the block, but we're only here for 5 breaths. So we have 1, let it settle, don't stress anything. If there's any pressure on the knee, then you want to lift your hips a little bit up. Again, sit on the block or sit on your feet. 2, 3, 4, almost there. 5, move your shoulders back. Now, remove your feet. Return to constructive rest position. Let the sacrum and the lower back just balance themselves again. We have 5 more breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's draw the navel in and draw both knees into your chest. Some of you might be thinking it was a bit intense to start with that, but when we work with the cold tissues of the body, we can better get the feeling of what is actually happening, which muscles are releasing, and then we also are sure that we won't overstress the joints by overstretching when we're too warm. All right, let's move over to the side, and then we're going to come on back up. Okay, let's stack the blocks just so that they're there for us when we need them. All right, now we're on the hands and knees. So I want you to test out kind of the hip joint by doing a light spinal movement. And let's just keep it really light, like not even cat and cow, just like little movements through the spine. Nice. Maybe give it a little side-to-side action, a little rolling. All right, let's curl the toes under, and we're going to do downward facing dog. So let's inhale up to downward dog. I want you to bend your knees, get into the hip joints, straighten the legs. One more time. Bend the knees, get into the hip joints, straighten the legs. That's good. All right, let's go for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Good. Walk all the way in. Let's take just a hanging forward fold. Make sure our forward bend is kind of nicely there for us. We can layer the arms over each other. And I want you to just kind of swing and hang like you're a rag doll and just kind of nice and easy so we get the movement, the forward bend back in our body. Very good. All right. Back to the center and just kind of stabilize, come to a still point for 2 more breaths. Release the muscles of the abdomen. 1 more breath. Release the hands. Good. Now slowly bend the knees. Let's take the hands forward. Inhale again, back to downward facing dog. All right. Switch your gaze forward. Inhale, let's step that right foot forward, coming down onto the fingertips. Exhale, sink that left knee down. Anjaneyasana, one of the most powerful poses for really getting into your Psoas. So now let's grab the blocks. I want you to come up onto the blocks, and then slowly we're going to work the fronts of the hip. All right, so now, having the support of the blocks, I'd like you to point the left toes, and then let yourself just kind of go from an elevated variation to like a sinking down version. Good, so now that pelvis really drops, you're going to feel the weight kind of bearing into the front of the left hip. Then we'll take the hands, and I want you to rotate the tailbone under, and that will kind of really target the Psoas, and then release. And then again, rotate the tailbone under, draw the navel in, and release. 1 more, rotate the tailbone under. We're feeling it, I'm feeling it too. Don't squeeze the glutes, just rotate it under, use the pelvic floor. Yes, that's it. And release. Nice. Let's hang down here in Anjaneyasana for 5 breaths. Get into a little extended variation. So let's walk that right foot forward and see how low you can go with your pelvis. Nice. We've got there. Yes, I'm feeling it too. Let's stay here for 1, 2. Try to stretch the left leg back, dropping the left hip more and more close to the ground. 4 and 5. All right, let's rescue that hip. Half split, bring it back. And we're here for 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hands off the blocks, maybe thread the inside, and then inhale back to downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna prepare to switch the sides, so step it forward, and let's put that right knee down, come up onto the blocks, and just hang out there for a moment. Many people are quite comfortable in this sort of lifted variation of Anjaneyasana, but to really get into the front of the hip and get into all of that energy that's in there, we really need to sink down. Once you sink down, you can point the right foot. Then we're going to hold on to the sacrum and the lower abdomen. I want you to tuck the tailbone and then sink. Good. 2 more times. Tuck the tailbones, just rotate the tailbone under, and then sink it down. Last one. Rotate the tailbone under and sink it down. Nice. Hold on to the blocks. Extend your Anjaneyasana, so go for kind of an extended lunge, and then just let the weight pour into the front of the right hip. Nice. Yes, we stay here. We have 1, 2, 3, keep reaching, keep lengthening. 4, look for it. There's a moment when the pelvis kind of turns and you can feel, oh, my psoas just released. 4, almost there. 5, press it up. Let's find that half split so we kind of put the body back together. Stay here. We got 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's move the blocks over to the side for a moment. And then inhale all the way up to downward facing dog. All right, downward dog. Nice. Good job. Okay, we're going to look forward. And let's take pigeon with the closed knee. So closed knee pigeon, where we work more on back bending and we work more on opening the hip. Now, I want you to find a strap. You could do this without the strap also. I just really like to use the strap. And then we're going to lasso the foot. Right? Depends on how big your strap is, how you're going to lasso the foot. All right, foot, come on over here. It's a tiny strap. I'm a tiny person. It's going to be okay. So now I want you to hold on to your lassoed foot and then take your right hand on the ground. You want to make sure that you push weight into that left hip and then pull and extend. And pull and extend. Look for the quadriceps and look for the front of the left hip and pull. Good. And let's hold that pull and we stay here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now start lifting your chest, reach back, find your foot. See if you can hold the foot. If not, keep holding on to the strap. Take your right hand on the ground and lift your chest. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, almost there, 5. Let's let it go. Good job. All right, now working the iliopsoas. Let's grab the blocks again. It's kind of like a long hold here. It's all right, we're just torturing ourselves lightly. It's all the fun. Step your hands onto the blocks. Now it's a little bit of upper back, but the upper back definitely is sort of icing on the cake when we think about working the iliopsoas. I want you now to lift from the center and then press a little bit into the blocks. And this you should feel like you're pulling your chest away from the pelvis. And let's stay here. We have 1. If it's comfortable for you, you can look back. If it's very comfortable for you, you can look back and bend the knee. All right? So we have 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, let's fold forward. Oh, fold forward, a nice moment for some of you. Sometimes folding back is easier for people. Okay, let's walk the hands again, inside edge of the blocks, curl the toes, inhale up to downward facing dog, very good. Switch the gaze forward, let's slide it on through. Find the other side pigeon. I'm gonna move the block out of the way just so doesn't get in the way when I'm lassoing the foot. All right, let's find that halfway point of the strap. Reach back, lasso the foot. All right, ready? First one, you might want to just pull over your shoulder to keep it easy. Maybe you stay here, back, and maybe it gets the shoulder. All right, and then kind of bring it closer, and then pull it forward. Make sure you kick it back, so we're kind of pushing and pulling for a moment. And then find the moment where, okay, yes, you're leaning into the left hand, the weight is on the right side, and you're really pulling forward. You want to feel that quadriceps, and maybe even the iliopsoas a little too. Stay for 5, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. If you activate the right leg, it makes it a little bit more intense. You don't have to do that, but you could try. All right, last breath. Good. Now we can come up, change the grip. So you can hold on to the foot, taking the left hand on the ground. You could do the inside. If you want to make more back bendy, you can do the outside, and then we hold. 1, 2, 3. If you can't get this grip, then just keep holding the strap. 4, and 5. All right, now let's put that strap over to the side. Let's get our blocks. The blocks will give you a little extra height. All right, and then make sure your hips are quite evenly balanced. And then inhale, lift the center of the chest. We can gaze forward and up, or again, if it's comfortable for you, you can look back. Very comfortable for you, can bend the knee and reach your head towards your foot, but no pressure. And we just hold it for 5. 1, sometimes pushing the iliopsoas too hard actually makes it tighten back up. So just kind of find a nice, comfortable way, like, just a nice walk in the park. Not a marathon. We've got 3, 4, and 5. All right, that was nice. Let's move those blocks over to the side. Take the hands down. All right. Inhale, up to downward facing dog. Okay, downward facing dog. Nice. Let's bend the knees, feel the back release, and straighten. Then we're going to sink the knees down. We're going to turn it around. And now, keep working. All right, I'm going to do one more movement for the iliopsoas, and this is very challenging. So we're thinking about working kind of almost advanced movements when we're targeting specific muscles like the fronts of the hips, iliopsoas. Right? So it's quite advanced. Now, first thing that we'll do is back bend. So we're going to take back bend on the elbows to start. want you to lift your hips lightly. Inhale, come up onto the top of the head. Then place the elbows down. I'd like you to interlace your fingers and just push a little weight towards the top of the head. All right, nice. Walk your feet lightly in towards each other. And then, inhale, we're going to lift the right leg. You're going to push into the left side and then straighten. Now let's hold. We have 1. So now this is kind of strengthening the iliopsoas as we release it. 2, 3, 4, take it easy, no stress. 5, all right, let's change the sides. All right. So you notice I'm going to start off with my right leg a little bent, and then when I bring the left leg up, then I push it straight, or straighter anyway, and then straighten the left leg. If the left hamstring is bothering you, just keep the left knee bent. And we have 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's bring those feet together. All right, now see if you can get that same feeling. Try to remember what we felt on the block, but now do it with your strength. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Walk the feet a little closer. Release. Yawn to your head. So you free the shoulders. Take the hands on the ground. Exhale. Let's come on down. Ooh, that was hard, huh? Let's bring the knees into the chests. Good. Now notice it's totally normal for the fronts of the hips to feel a little bit like, whoa, after all of that, because you just really, really stretch the iliopsoas. We release the front of the hips. It's totally normal for them to feel a little like something's happened. You want to acknowledge that. Treat it nicely. Good, and we'll stay here, just hugging the knees in. That's good. Move your head over to the left side, releasing any tension in the neck. Good. Back to the center. Head over to the right side, releasing any tension in the neck. That's good. And back to the center. Okay, now we're going to lift the legs up, Utthana Padasana. I want you to either take the block, place it underneath the hips, or if your forward bend flexibility is quite well established, this is just going to give a little bit more space to the fronts of the hip joints. So grab the flesh of the thighs and push it up, and then just let the thigh bones kind of rest on the hands. Maybe the thigh muscle, more rest on the hands. At least for me, the thigh muscle, more rest on the hands. And then that kind of just lets the legs float a little bit. We can engage lightly, and we'll be here for 5 breaths. 1. Now we give the iliopsoas a break. We really work the front of the hip and got that sort of life energy and vitality moving through the pelvis. So now let's work to bring it back into balance. We have 3, 4, and 5. Good, we bend the knees, taking the feet down. Now we're going to cross the right knee over the left, and then exhale, bring the knees over to the right side. And just drape the hands lightly to the left, and we'll stay here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's come back to the center. Switch the sides. A big breath in, and then as you exhale, both knees over to the left, hands drape easily to the right. Good, and so we're just doing this to rebalance, so don't overdo it. Just be here. That's it. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale back to the center. Constructive rest again. Stay here. Feel the sacrum balanced. Feel the bones floating. And then exhale, let's lie down and take rest. You can extend the legs. Find a good spot. Allow the breath to be freely flowing, the body to come to a resting point. Easy. After these few moments of rest, allow yourself a long, deep breath in, moving fingers, toes, hands and feet, your arms and legs, the head, the neck, the torso. A little stretch that feels right for you, and then find the way to bend the knees all the way up into the chest. As you exhale, roll over onto the side and come all the way back up. Good. Let's close the eyes for a moment. Feel the connection again between breath, body, and mind. Feel the emotions, whatever emotions are present. And then gently bring the hands together, making peace with where you are. A long, deep breath in. As you exhale, let's softly open the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me on this practice. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be filled with love.